So the next song on the record is called Oakleigh Woods slash The Ghosts at Night.
Oakleigh Woods in the high heat.
This is one of the first songs that I wrote, I think, for this batch of songs. Um, it was always a piano song. It was always intended to be. Actually, I think I wrote it initially on the guitar, and but it quickly sort of migrated to the piano. And I'm not a piano player at all. I can sort of play single chords, and you can see that in my playing, sort of always. So, and it wasn't. I never intended to kind of. The piano that you hear on the record are the original demo MIDI tracks that I recorded, that we just substitute different piano sounds. So it was supposed to be a real piano player, but that never happened because for whatever reason. So this one, I think thematically, I hadn't. This I think is before pandemic stuff. This has to be 2018. And again, it's about youth a little bit. It's about nostalgia. There is just about a mile away from my house in Tyler, there's a neighborhood. And you drive by the neighborhood, there's a large brick wall. And on the wall, it has this, in really large black sort of Gothic letters, it says Oakleigh Woods. It's the name of the neighborhood. And so it grabbed my attention one day, and I thought, that'd be a great song title. And so I just wrote it down. And then when I was working on this, the chords for this, I began thinking about this sort of fictionalized suburban or small town neighborhood that I would have lived in growing up. And so the images that are coming from the song are related to some of my experiences growing up in this sort of fictionalized neighborhood, because I didn't have one. I mean, I lived in so many different places and had so many different homes growing up that it wasn't one particular place that I had in mind. But and I wrote this song in the summer because it was extremely hot, and so I remember that being part of it. So Oakleigh Woods in the high heat is the first sort of how it begins. In a quiet park and some fantasy.
Oakleigh Woods in the high heat, in a quiet park, in some fantasy.
And it just sort of evokes this sort of dreamy, nostalgic kind of imagery. And then just the lyrics kind of point to these different objects you might see in this sort of fantasized place. A dead-end street, a modern house, a Gothic dream, just sort of these different kind of...
What's a Gothic dream? What is that?
I was just imagining, one of those sort of old Victorian kind of homes next to a modern home in these neighborhoods that are kind of mixed, kind of thing. And probably because I've lived in so many different homes, some of them have been, from the 19th century, and some of them are built in 1980, so there's just my own experience are these different types of homes. And so the idea, though, is when you're being nostalgic, I think, when you're in that earlier place, it's hard to see where your trajectory was going to take you, where you're going to go, and you're lost. I mean, at least I feel like I was kind of lost growing up. And so the chorus of this is, I hate being lost from the start. I need a better map and a chart. I'll make my way into the heart this time. I will find Oakleigh Woods.
I hate being lost from the start. I need a better map and a chart. I'll make my way into the heart this time. I will find Oakleigh Woods.
And it's just this longing for home, a place of home. I've moved probably close to 75 times in my life. I mean, all over. And so this yearning, this desire for a home, a place to be, I think this song kind of speaks to that.
Is Oakleigh Woods a stand-in for heaven in some sense?
Probably. I mean, I don't think of it in that sense, but I think of it more as like a nostalgic,
Right.
because I'm not yearning for a particular place, although a lot of the images come from my house in Tiffin, Ohio, when I was in 5th grade. Like it stands out, the neighborhood stands out to me. And so, like the next verse on there, Oakleigh Woods, the kids outside, Chelsea Downs, oh run and hide. Chelsea Downs it's another imaginary neighborhood who's like the next neighborhood over. And the Chelsea Downs kids are coming into our neighborhood. So we've got to scatter, we got to hide,
That's great.
that kind of thing.
Are they tough kids, or are they just?
I don't know.
They're the rivals.
Yeah, they're the rivals, not in your neighborhood
Are
kind
they
of thing.
fancier than Oakleigh Woods kids? Or?
Chelsea Downs, it sounds pretty fancy. It's actually the name of a horse stable not too far from where I'm a priest. I saw it on a big sign. It's like Chelsea Stables or something like that. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Or something, something like that, anyway. And then other just images. The ghosts at night. We used to play Ghost in the Graveyard in that neighborhood. That like it. In the summertime, right about 9 o'clock at night, right when it's starting to get dark, before you have to go to bed, it's like hide and seek, but it's at night.
Yeah.
And so you're ghosts and that kind of thing. I have a very strong sort of memory of that because it's like the perfect hour in the summer, especially in Ohio. It wasn't particularly brutally hot.
Right.
And the kids are outside, everybody's running around and you're just waiting for your parents to call you home, that kind of thing. When I was growing up, there were no cell phones or anything like that, and you just stay out till dark. You're gone all day.
Yeah.
And so you push that as far as you can. Yeah, and so, I mean, that's just sort of, it doesn't necessarily, aside from the youth thing, it doesn't necessarily speak to contemporary issues, but it's sort of a yearning, maybe it does, it's yearning for something that is lost, that's gone, that I don't have. So it's not totally in opposition to the other themes of the record, but yeah. I like that song too. I think it's a good one.
Oakleigh Woods, the kids outside, Chelsea Downs,